way that you think, the inconsistency of your decisions, because I see how you handle your life, I choose not to give you permission to handle my life that way. It's my responsibility to do that for me. Me setting boundaries is not me rejecting you. It's protecting me. I'll look you square in your face and tell you that I love you with all my heart. But that doesn't mean that you have access to it. I can love you truly, deeply, with the love of God. But because of your behaviors, the way that you think, the inconsistency of your decisions, because I see how you handle your life,
stops questioning, doesn't text first, actions, or no longer asks about other women in your life, and accepts everything with an "it's okay" or "I'm not upset," just know that the last tear has dropped and she no longer cares what happens. A woman does not make noise when she's leaving you. She made noise before when she wanted to stay, but you didn't listen. When her silence speaks louder than her words, understand it's not because she's calm, it's because she's done. She's tired of fighting for someone who made her feel like she wasn't her pain. She chose her, and that's when you realize the quiet departure of a woman who once loved you fiercely. The brutal reality is, you didn't lose her when she walked away. You lost the moment you started treating her like just an option who is not worth fighting for. When a woman stops getting jealous, stops questioning, doesn't text first, seems unconcerned about your actions, or no longer asks about other women in your life, and accepts everything with an "it's okay" or "I'm not upset," just know that the last tear has dropped and she no longer cares what happens. A woman does not make noise when she's leaving you. She made noise before when she wanted to stay, but you didn't listen. When her silence speaks louder than her words, understand it's not because she's calm, it's because she's done. She's tired of fighting for someone who made her feel like she wasn't worth the effort. She gave her all, but when her peace became more valuable than her pain, she chose herself. Of a woman who once loved you fiercely. The brutal reality is, you didn't lose her when she walked away. You lost her like she was just an option who is not worth fighting for.
See, one thing people need to understand about extremely nice, caring, kind, loving people is that their other side is just as extreme. It is the hell that they survive that makes them gentle. Don't mistake their self-control for weakness. The beast inside them is sleeping, not dead. See, one thing people need to understand about extremely nice, caring, kind, loving people is that their other side is just as extreme. It is the hell that they survive that makes them gentle. Don't mistake their self-control for weakness. The beast inside them is sleeping, not dead.
I love that saying. I'll be have to play that. That's my shit. Shout out to everyone. Excuse me. Damn. Let's go.
Almost took the medicine. I see it over and over and over.
I need to learn how to put this on my bio.
Hello. Oh my God, what's up? Huh? No, it just went off today. It never went off. How long before that shit was done? Oh,
Let me say this.
These bitches hating, but I'm still sitting pretty. I'm sitting pretty. 20
hey y'all, hey money,
I got these bitches on their feelings.
Shout out to my
Apple
baby
headed
girl.
hoe, keep an Android like I'm trillin'. See my hubby to the right, and while he bagging out that I'm chillin', stacking money to the ceiling. Tried to making money on this mission. Tried to tell me it's a limit. That's when I got offended. Made an hour from a minute. Wayne told me that ain't no ceiling. I'm sitting pretty, sis. I'm a hoodie. I'm on my bossy and my pretty house of ditty shit. Real thick nails did itty bitty. These bitches hating, but I'm still sitting pretty, sis. I'm a hood, it's a ditty bitch. I'm on my bossy and my pretty house of ditty shit. Real thick nails did itty bitty. bitches hating, but I'm still sitting pretty, sis. City shit.
Hey, y'all. Calm down.
I'm sitting pretty, sis.
Y'all gonna be quiet.
And I'm still sitting pretty, sis. Now I'm still sitting pretty, sis.
All right. How's this damn? I promise you this. No. Hey, everybody. What's going down in the town? I know everybody been hearing about that girl who got unalived last year. I guess they just started to make it a news topic. The reason I want to talk about it because I used to be in a group home. I used to be with my auntie. They was my foster parents. My auntie and my uncle, like, and I was a foster kid first. Then I ended up going to a group home. The reason I end up going to a group home is because I refuse to live with anybody or tolerate anybody talking shit about me, especially if we supposed to be family and you supposed to be, hey, my trees. I kept saying happy birthday to you and Big Brenda chat last night. But I will not tolerate no one talking down on me. Especially being family and you already know what I've been through. And hold on. Mellow! Be quiet, twin. It's beeping. You can eat if you want to. And put them dishes up in the dishwasher. They already done. Okay. And that's before you start eating.
Do you want me to put the pots and pans in?
Huh?
The
no, they need to be. They clean. They just need to be rinsed out. Everything is clean up there. I just didn't have time to rinse them out because I wanted to start the food. Yeah.
Shut up. Why are you barking?
Why
are you, what is there to bark for? Why?
But go turn that chicken off before. I don't want it to keep beeping. But yeah, so I was a foster kid and I stayed in a group home. I ain't gonna lie. Me moving to that group home was the best experience of my freaking life. I love my group home. Like I stayed in my group home for the last 2 years of my high school years.
Why must you bark? Why must you bark?
And I promise you, I appreciate what my group home did for me because without that group home, I wouldn't be who I am. And my teachers, I had some great teachers. Without them, I wouldn't be who I am. But some of these teachers don't know the signs of an abused child, or a worried child, or anything like that. You feel me? But I stayed with my auntie. I think I stayed with my auntie maybe 3 years. My daughter was 3 years old when I left my auntie in them house. Now, I had my daughter when I was 13. Had my first child at 13. I had my first child at 13, but the baby daddy, we was 3 years apart. He was 16, I was 18. I mean 13. He wasn't there. That's why I worked harder as I got older. Okay. I worked even harder. I talked about this before. Shout out to my nigga Serpent X. He on vacation. He in Florida. So I want to him. The reason I'm giving my shout out to him because I'm gonna start where he told me to stay. Story time, niggas. Story time. Um, but yeah, so I stayed with my auntie and them for 3 years. I won't tolerate the disrespect, but I'm not gonna sit here and disrespect them. Yeah, I had a fiery ass temp for no reason. You know what I'm saying? When I was a kid. Um, you made sure you locked the doors?
Yes.
Thank you. And I made sure my daughter still has stuff. And though I went to a group home, my daughter stayed with my auntie and them. Don't get me wrong, they was terrible to me, but they was a good influence on my daughter. You know what I'm saying? They took good care of my daughter. But when I was in a group home, I couldn't find a group home because I stayed in the suburbs of Chicago. So they just started opening group homes for kids and moms, you know what I'm saying, to stay together. Me myself personally, my daughter was 3 years old. They already said she was too old. So I was like, well, if y'all can't get me in a group home with my child, I want to be close to my daughter. Now, at this time, I thought all the group homes was in the city on the south side of Chicago. Majority of all, they got a big ass motherfucking foster build group. I want to say a big building where kids are awarded to state. Nobody wants them. It's called Rainbow. Now, that's on the south side of Chicago. So they used to handpick their kids, the girls, because I stayed in an all girls group home. So it wasn't like a big dumb group home. Like it was 3 in one room, 2 in the other. And oh my God, I can't think of her name. Me and her were the same age when I went up in there. The first 30 days you can't leave. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get established to your, you know what I'm saying, to your surroundings, get to know everybody. But I could have visitors. Now, I had a cousin. Shout out to my cousin. Like I love my cousin. And his mom, because his mom worked in a group home, but she worked in the fur like this Joliet. I want to say Joliet is the west suburbs of it's like take you about an hour from the west side of Chicago to get to Joliet, Illinois. So she worked out there, but she worked in a group home as well. So she wanted to come and check out the group home. Like she helped raise me, and though she was, I wasn't her niece or anything, but my cousin dad and my dad are brothers. So we grew up in the same schools and everything. We only like two, I think we 2 years apart. And so they came to see me for a while. But like they had to make special recommendations for me because I raised my daughter as well as I raised my brother, my baby brother. So I got to see them every other weekend, which I was kind of mad about, but that gave me a chance. I get to do her hair and stuff, get her ready for school, because she was in preschool. So after that, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie, I used to love that group home. We got to go places I thought I'll never be able to experience. I got to meet famous people. Uh, I mean, everybody don't like their job. I figured that out. We did have a couple of people in our staff that was mean or whatever, but I mean, and then some of them girls who's not used to being in the suburbs, who they was picking out of these different group homes, uh, like I ain't gonna lie, where our bathroom at is not hard. We had upstairs and the downstairs. Our downstairs had kitchen, the living room. The rooms was on the second floor, and we had a with a it was a lounge area. It had a pool table, everything. I stayed playing pool down there. I stayed being down there, or you know what I'm saying, or when we had to do counseling, that's where we went. So it was this one girl, I can't think of her name. I ain't gonna lie. She wanted to like she been awarded to stay for a while. And I guess I don't know what happened, but the bitch jumped out the motherfucking second floor window to go back to the south side of Chicago. And I'm gonna say she was there maybe give or take about 3 weeks. I wanna say she was there. And she ended up jumping out the window. She missed the south side. She's born over there on the what she say 63rd. I know she stayed on State Street, and that's on the south side for sure. That's right off of not the Dan Ryan, but god damn it, I can't think of that expressway. I can't think of it. I know Dan Ryan is the west side of Chicago expressway, but then when it turns in, like where she stayed at, she stayed maybe 45 to 50 minutes away from Indiana. You feel me? So where I stayed at going to the south side, it take you about give or take two hours to get there. You feel me? Um and you know what I'm saying? Some of the girls got into a fight. I wasn't because I grew up with boys, so this is new to me, being with nothing but girls. Um and then we had another group home on the south side of Chicago, but it was all boys. I think they had 7 boys up in there. We did like when they did like get-togethers and stuff. We always together. You know what I'm saying? We was always together. If I'm not mistaken, right now I've been. I graduated. I want to say it's almost been 30 years since I've been at the group home, but they end up changing it. Changing it. I guess the girls was too much after I left, so they end up changing it to an all boys group home after I left. Uh, I mean, after like a couple years later down the line, I used to still, even though I got myself emancipated before I turned 19 because I already had graduated. I was working, you know what I'm saying, and I wanted to go home back to my daughter, and they supposed to been helping me. So when you get awarded to state, they really like in Chicago. They at that time, you know what I'm saying, back in the '90s, they supposed to like, long as you're doing what you're supposed to do, they supposed to help you look for a job. You know, take these budgeting classes and all of this shit, which I was doing because I wanted to go home and I wanted to get my baby brother. And though I know I couldn't keep my baby brother because my auntie and them was gonna adopt him. I really wanted my own place, a 2 bedroom. Then my brother and my daughter could come. My brother, like I said, I raised my brother ever since he was born until he was 2 years old. Uh, but we stayed together. I do have another brother. He was the only one who went to his dad. His dad came and got him. His dad was not gonna let him grow up in the system. Um, which you know what I say this story all I tell this story all the time, but I would never will forget uh when we had to go to court, and that's the day they took us from my mom, right? And I was pregnant with my daughter. We got taken July the 11th of 1991. My daughter was born. She was due on Halloween, but she came October 18th. She was born on October 18th. My daughter is right now. She is 33. She's been married for going on 8 years. They have 2 beautiful kids, and she was a teenage mom as well. She like my oldest grandson. He is only a year. He's a year younger than my youngest son, so he's my oldest. grandson. I can't wait to see him. I'm finna pay for his plane. He want to come out here. He has never been to Washington, so I'm really excited to bring him out here. I'm waiting on for uh him to go on spring break so he can spend a week out here with me and the boys, and I know they're gonna be excited to see him. So I know he ain't gonna be just with me. He gonna be out everywhere because I got three boys out here. So two of my boys, one stay in Seattle, one stay in Renton. So I know he's not gonna really be with me. They're gonna be coming to get him. You know what I'm saying? For him to come out there and kick it with him. Um, but anyway, um, the reason I wanted to bring this up because like I know people who went through some hell. Like when people tell you in real time in real life that if you think it's someone who had it worse than you did, and I ain't gonna lie, I cannot think of her name for nothing, but she stayed in the group home with me. We was the same age, but mentally we were not the same age. If you understand where I'm coming from, and she was in love with Tevin Campbell, love with him. You know what I'm saying? So her mom used to come. She was from the South Side, um, and her mom used to come out there and visit her, bring her anything she wanted, whatever. Um, so one day I was like, "Why you got such an obsession? Hey, why you got such an obsession with Tevin Campbell? You know." Um, and this when my grandma told me people have it worse than you. You know, you listen as a teenager or as a kid, but you really don't understand until you understand. And I used to ask her why she was so much in love. She's like, I write him letters and everything. So she used to have this big dumbass shoebox, and she was like, you can read them, you can read them. But again, me and her, like I said, we're the same age, but mentally we're not. So I open up the box. I'm reading, reading her letters. You know, again, let me say this again. When my grandma told me people have it worse than you, believe what I'm saying. So I'm reading the letters, and she was like, "I love you." Um, what she said, "I love you, Tevin Campbell." She was smart as fuck, but mentally, like in the real world, she wasn't. Um, and she used to say certain, some disturbing shit, like, "Yeah, Tevin, I want to suck your peen, and I want to suck on your toes." Da, 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 da. So every letter she had, I swear, I think she had about 20 letters up in her shoebox saying exactly the same thing. So I got close to a couple of couple of the staff members, and I asked them what had happened. You know what I'm saying, to her, and they told me, and I think this is disgusting, and I'm gonna say it. Her dad has been sexually abusing her ever since she was 2 until she was 12. She was 10 years. But like I said, we're the same age now. At this time, we were like 16 or 17. We both stayed in a group home. We ain't stay in the same room. We stayed, but I'm trying to be cool with everybody. Make sure I'm doing what I got to do, and then that's when you get more privileges, and you could go home for the weekends and shit like that. So I was working on that. It took me about 6 months to get to that part, to go home and be at home with my daughter and my brother. You know, so when they told me that fucked me up. Like the other girls, the other girls was like me. Mom was on drugs. You know what I'm saying? I think we had, and then it's crazy because we had it. Like we had one white girl. We had one white girl and four black girls. Um, and the white girl, she was get in touch as well when she was younger, but she was mentally focused. She wanted to, do her thing, woo, you know what I'm saying, at the time. But that particular girl always stayed on my mind ever since now, you know what I'm saying? Now, the reason I say that is because when I heard that, like, I'm in touch. I was touched when I was 5. I was touched again at 7. Two different people. Um, that's why I tell people all the freaking time. I don't give a fuck what no one say about me on this motherfucking internet. I don't give a fuck what nobody does. I don't care what nobody says. Anything. I said what I said. I meant what the fuck I said. Period. A lot of people fail to realize when you're not afraid to die for yours, you really don't give a fuck. But in the meantime, between time, I'm not on here hooping and hollering or disrespecting nobody like motherfuckers tried to disrespect me last week with they punk ass, bitch ass shit. But anyway, um, I mean what I say, like a lot of people go through a lot of shit. I felt like after I found out what she's been through, it was my shit was mediocre. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up dating this dude. He was in the foster system as well. Now he stayed with a foster parent, and he was like, I know she kept us because she had. He said, I think it was 6 or 7 of them. She she was just there to get the checks, right? And he told me this particular story. Like she was a black lady, but she didn't like light skinned kids. She didn't like light skinned kids. So one of her foster kids was light skinned. So he used to tell me stories like, yeah, sometimes because he was not dark, but he was brown. He was like, shit, brown, you stuck around. But he told me a story one day that she was just mean to one of the foster kids he grew up with, and he was light bright. He was a red bone nigga, you know, and she was telling me that what the fuck she say? She told me no, not she. He told me like when she used to get mad, she'll take it out on him because he was the lightest one in the group. And like she said, one day he said she fixed some food and she had this dirty carpet um, in her house, in her living room. And she said when she used to get mad, it don't she it, he was a good kid. She just didn't like his skin complexion. And the reason I bring this up, like they said, that girl got failed by her grandparent, her aunties, and the system, right? Which I feel like they should sue the system as well because they could get some money off the system for them not taking up for her. In the meantime, I would have sued the school when somebody letting you know. I don't care. Talk about it wasn't enough evidence. Y'all should have investigated. But anyway, she had cooked food. Like I said, she was just mad, and he didn't do anything. She smashed the food into the ground. Told him to get on his hands and knees, and if you want to eat, you got to eat it out that carpet, bro. That fucked me up. I'm like, when I hear other people's stories, I say, shit, my shit was a cupcake compared to some of these motherfuckers. I said,
Excuse
shit.
me, Mom.
Yes.
When I rinse those dishes, do you want me to re-rack the bowls and stuff that are out to the side into the dishwasher?
Yeah, you can put them dishes. Yeah, you can put them in the dishwasher. Um, and so I ain't gonna lie, that fucked me up. I'm like, shit, my shit is peaches and cream. I said, all my mom did was beat me when she got high. That's my shit wasn't nothing, you know. But yeah, I have been, touched uh, The first time I was 5, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. But when I was 7, I knew what the fuck was going on, and it was my mom's boyfriend. I would never forget his name. His name was Bob, and he was a white guy. And like literally, I pretend I was asleep the whole time. Like I'm of sound of mind. So soon as my mom came in, because she wasn't there, I told my mom. My mom didn't say shit. That man the next day bought my mom a fur coat, and my grandma owned this. She owned an apartment building. She had 3 floors. So my mom stayed in the basement, and my grandma rented out the third floor, the second floor, and my grandma stayed in the middle. So I went and stayed with my grandma. Fuck that. I'm not, nigga. I'm not staying down there and you letting this man do whatever he want to me. That's why me and my mom don't get along. That and because when she got high, she used to beat me. I ain't got time for that shit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie. When I got old enough, we got to. Well, I ain't gonna say we got to box it because my mom can't fight. But yeah, so I ain't gonna lie. I beat her ass at the age of 22. I fucked her up. I tried to strangle that bitch. Like they took 2 people to get me off of her. Like when you've been holding in so much emotions all your life, and now you get to take it out on certain not on certain people, because I took it out on her because as much as I was going through, she thought I was still that little kid she could bully, and I couldn't do it, mother or not. And I'm so tired of people always say, that's your mom, that's your mom. I don't give a 2 flying fucks who she is to me, because I'm her child. I didn't ask to be here. But in the meantime, between time, you're not gonna keep doing me wrong. You know what I'm saying? Then my brother, he was born with like, and though I raised him, he used to shake all the time when he was a kid. When he was a baby, because he was addicted to cocaine. So all of that shit, all of them emotions came out. I was trying to. I ain't gonna lie, I was choking the fuck out of her in the hallway. I would never forget that day. And my kid's father. My last 3 boys has the same father, and at this time, my oldest son was like 6 months. He was 6 months, yeah. Um, but I ain't gonna lie, it was just when you have so much emotion. That's why I be telling people, y'all don't know what y'all could, what motherfuckers are capable of. Y'all better. A lot of people better stop playing with these people on the internet. I ain't trying to be funny. There's so many people. Like I used to, I used to fuck with this content creator. I can't think of his name. I erased him out of my feed. But he used to go on, god damn it, on changing the subject now. Um he used to be a content creator on YouTube. Um when I first started getting on, I started getting on YouTube really in about 2000. I got to with the trucker community in 2022. So I started in 2000. I want to say 2000 or 2019. I started like the end of 2019. I started getting on YouTube, but I was not really into YouTube because I was more into tag or whatever. But then he used to go to Clubhouse and record some uh whack shit and put it on his lives, and then he started doing lives and shit like that. So you know what I'm saying. And then one time he got to talking about his YouTube check on this motherfucker. And I swear to God, like I was just like he didn't do lives. You can get on live, but you could call. You know what I'm saying? Call in or whatever. Found out he was out here in Tacoma. You know what I'm saying? And I knew his birthday was coming up. I'm like, bro, we got to smoke some. You know what I'm saying? We can meet at a mutual place downtown Seattle. I mean, this we was just making plans to kick it. You know what I'm saying? I told him I was basically new out here. I've been out here for a while though, uh but it was so crazy because then I get back on the internet and he was talking about his YouTube check or whatever. We got back on the internet. Another, oh my God, I can't think. It was another content creator got to talking about him and found out like 2 hours later after he got off his live, somebody unalived him, and he did a lot of stuff for whack on his page, and because he wasn't from Washington, I think he was from Memphis or something like that. They had whack had sent his body back home. They end up finding out dude, you know, got unalived, and whack had paid for his funeral. He didn't even know dude. I, he didn't even know Whack. Um, and Whack didn't know him. He just used to be in Clubhouse. And I ain't gonna lie, I ended up listening to him. He was my first person to ever give me a moderator stick. He's the first person. Um, I, to this day, I got moderator sticks and still don't know what the fuck I'm doing with the motherfuckers. I ain't finna lie to you. But yeah, it was a lot. But I be telling people, in the meantime, between time, like, yeah, I couldn't believe. Like, I'm like, dude was just online. I was just called in. We was just chopping it up. You know what I'm saying? It just fucked with me a little bit. Um, so stop playing with these people. And I don't even. Till this day, I don't think because I want to say he passed away into 2022, and not to this day, I still don't think they found um uh the person who unalived him. So yeah, it was just crazy. I just wanted to talk. I just wanted to flash back on that because I hear everybody talking about the girl, and I I didn't go that far. I didn't. We wasn't penetrated, but I was getting touched, and I know that's some long ass inappropriate shit. But in the meantime, between time, I didn't let that take over me. But again, when I went to the group home, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna lie, I used to gang bang before I went to the group home. My first year in the group home, I sold drugs. I was going home. I got off at a certain time. I had a curfew. I would go home, be with my daughter for a couple of hours, and go back to the block. I was doing that until I think I started selling drugs at 17. 16. 16. Started selling drugs 16. And then I didn't stop selling drugs until I was 20, 25. Yep, 25. I stopped selling drugs. And when they say when you sell drugs, money go fast. That money used to go fast. I used to buy my at that time I only had 2 kids. I used to buy them anything they wanted. But then when I got pregnant with my third child, I was done. I thought it was more important to be a mom than anything. And then I moved to another part of Illinois. I didn't know nobody. I'm not selling no drugs. I don't trust none of you motherfuckers. Now the people I used to sell, I grew up with these people. You know what I'm saying? They used to be in the basement with my mom. You know what I'm saying? But you still taking the risk because they could get caught and they could snitch on you as well. But I never got in trouble. Thank God I never. I used to do the craziest shit. Like when I used to have to do shit and um, I didn't want to take my drugs with me. I used to hide. Back in the day, if anybody grew up with curtains, these new age curtains with the hooks, you had to hook them to the lane, the pole. You used to have to hook them to the pole, and they were some long ass hooks. So what I used to do is I used to just in case my auntie, my grandma and them got raided or something. Because my brother was selling, he was selling big dope. I was a small fry. My brother was selling big dope. He was selling weed. He was selling cocaine. He was selling um, heroin. He was selling all of that shit. That's I used to see them people get sick off that heroin if they don't have it. How sick they get. I'm cool on that. I didn't want no parts of that. I said at least with the crack. I never seen nobody OD on crack. I'm sorry, not since I grew up. I ain't never seen nobody like you could OD on heroin and shit. I've never seen nobody OD on no goddamn weed. I see people get addicted to certain drugs and they act like they gotta have it all the time. You know what I'm saying? Which I don't have a problem with it. That's what y'all do. That's what y'all do. I ain't got no problem with it. But yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I had some good time selling drugs. Because it just wasn't me. It was me and my cousins and a couple of my friends who stayed on the block. You know what I'm saying? We all looked out for each other, and motherfuckers don't do that no more. Like, hey, 5-0. We ain't call them 5-0. We call them Penelopes. We was like, the Penelope's coming. And shit like that. But yeah, I used to have. But anyway, back to the curtains. Uh, I used to put my shit in a plastic bag on to the hooks, just in case they bring dogs in the house. They would never know that I'm gonna hide some fucking drugs in a motherfucking curtain. But that's what I used to do. Um, I used to do that for everybody. Anybody who didn't want to carry their shit, they going somewhere just in case because we knew undercovers was out there. We knew who the undercovers was. You know what I'm saying? Like one dude tried to come with a fake ass baby. I was like, bro, we ain't selling you no drugs with no damn kid in your motherfucking hand. At the time, we didn't know it was fake. At that point in time, like he's holding, covering the baby. Like they used to do hellish things on us. But like I said, I know I wasn't the only one selling drugs. My mom started selling drugs back in the '80s, and she ended up getting addicted to the shit. So they was really after my mom and my brother. You know what I'm saying? They my brother was selling big drugs. All my mom did was sell cocaine, and she used to do the craziest shit growing up. Like she would punch her wall out, and the what is that shit called in the wall? I can't think of the name of it. This shit that's in the wall. You'll put your hole, it look like chalk, whatever. So my mom used to like wound them. We call it wound. You give them some fake ass shit, so you wound them. Um, I ain't gonna lie, that shit used to crack me the fuck up. So I know one day we was out there. I ain't gonna lie, we had people who sold drugs on both sides. Like all the buildings it was 4 buildings on our block, and we all did this. All of us did the same thing. Everybody, not throughout the whole building. A couple of buildings they did. The whole building was family building, so they used to sell drugs out the motherfucker. But some of them was fiends who ended up getting high off their own supply. So one day, I took some of that shit. I swear to God, possessed. I bagged it up, little bags or whatever, and then I put it in a baggie. And at that time, my grandma had a fence. So what I used to do is I'll throw it over the fence and just watch back in them days, motherfuckers wasn't even fucking with phones back in the early '90s like that. So the late '90s like that. So I used to watch them fight over it. We used to do it at least once a month. They'll be fighting over that shit, and found out they fighting over nothing because the shit wasn't real. But yeah, I used to have some good time. I remember they came and raided for the first time they raided my kid's father because he was I was helping him sell his drugs and my brother. Because at this time I had just got out the group home And my brother really didn't know how to sell drugs. So I taught him how to sell drugs. Not even taught him how to sell drugs, just how to pack it, how to weigh it up and all of that stuff. How much per, you know what I'm saying, whatever you're giving the person, how much you charge them and shit like that. I used to, like, even when I used to run out my packs, I used to look out for my family. Like, give me your pack, I'm out here. And I would never I would never not give them that money or nothing like that. Like, I was always there for them. My favorite one, he rest in peace. He's been gone since April of 2014. I told him he needed to stop selling drugs. Like, bro, he used to get whooped by the craziest shit. Like, one day this lady Xeroxed a $10 bill. Xerox a $10 bill. And so it was hella dark, you know what I'm saying? And my cousin was like, Tish. I'm like, what? He was like, do this look real? And I looked at it, no. So it was a female. The bitch Xeroxed the $10 bill and didn't have the decency to put it on both sides. So the other side was blank, but the paper was green. I said, this shit don't even look real. And that's when when phony money was out there hella hard. Phony money was out there hella hard. Like, bro, and I used to have to tell him, you gotta look at, you gotta look at everything. I know, it's supposed to be a grab and go, but they want you to do that because they got this fake ass money. You feel me? And they trying to get it off their motherfucking hands to get their drugs because they ain't got the real. My cousin kept getting wounded. He was selling drugs for my brother, and my brother was doing him grimy as fuck. And I told him, get your own, 3.8. Get your own 3.8. You feel me? Now back in those days, a ball was only $100 back in the 90s. So yeah. He started rocking out doing his own thing. Like, my brother wasn't paying him. He was doing him bogusly. To this day, you know what I'm saying? I think motherfuckers got their karma because of how they treated him. But I don't talk to that brother anyway. I got a brother who's like, what's so crazy? I got a brother who's like a year or some months younger than me. Then my youngest brother, him and my daughter is only 2 years and a couple of months apart. So they grew up together. She'll tell you. They think they brother and sister until they have to tell them. That's my uncle. But they grew up as brother and sister together. They grew up with, and it's crazy because I grew up with boys and she grew up with boys. So yeah, I'm proud of my daughter. A lot of teenage moms, I ain't gonna lie, you don't find too many teenage moms who kids. I mean, we all struggle. You know what I'm saying? My daughter, she stay in Minnesota, but I'm just proud of her. Like, to have when I was 13, I was really involved in everything until I went to the group home. But I'm proud of her. She's been married. June of this year be 8 years. They've been married. They really don't never have no problems. I never hear. The only problem I hear because my daughter, she was spoiled all her life, and she's still spoiled to this day. Sorry, she is spoiled. She will work for every penny she wants. Come on, twin, be quiet, bro. Twin, stop, nigga. I'm gonna put you in the cage. Y'all don't like that cage. Move around. I'm not trying to. I gotta sit here and argue with my boy dog. Be quiet. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. Right. No, I'm not trying to hear that. Be quiet. Shut up. I hate to say that word, but you ain't understanding to be quiet shit. Yeah, so I've been on here for about an hour. I wasn't planning to be on here too long because I'm missing my nigga. Shout out to my hey, I'm missing his shit. I'm usually up in there till I fall asleep, but I didn't wake up until 9. I ain't go to sleep until like what time I go to sleep? I went to sleep about 5 o'clock. And though I just got today is Sunday now, but I got off yesterday. I couldn't go to sleep, so I've been just doing shit around the house, cleaning up, washing dishes, cooking and shit. And I know I wanted to go live, but I was gonna go live earlier, but I changed my mind. I wanted to go later. I didn't want to talk about this in the afternoon or in the morning. Stop, nigga. But yeah, so I just wanted to, put that out there. Nigga, calm down. I wanted to put that out there. A lot of people be acting like y'all be hurting these people's feelings, and again, people don't know what the fuck you been through for you not to give a fuck. How you like them apples? And I'm so tired of motherfuckers always talking about they status or how much money they making and shit like that, but I'm about to say how much they making, but a lot of people ain't taking a flight to go fight motherfuckers or talk. They talk all this shit. Let me see your mouth. Oh, God. He getting on my nerves. He won't stop. He won't leave me alone. So yeah, I'm finna get off of here because he gonna keep barking. I'm gonna have to beat him slowly. Now my girls don't bark like that unless somebody is at the door. But this nigga, he wanna sit here and argue with me. He the only male out of all my girls. Yeah. But yeah, so I appreciate everybody who stopped through. Hopefully people will stay and listen to my stories when I have story time, nigga. I miss Joey. Shout out to Serpent X. Again, I hope he's enjoying Florida. I think he come back. I think he told me he go back home Tuesday, but I'm gonna call him and see how he's doing. He got there yesterday, so I'm gonna call him later to see how he's doing. He told me he was gonna come live, but I never told him exactly what time I wanted to come live. So I wanted him to enjoy himself. I don't think he ever been to Florida before, so I wasn't gonna burden him on coming on my live because that's my dog. That's my road dog. That's my co-host. Shout out to Spider too. I call her my co-host as well. I know she sleep at this time, so I wasn't bothering her to do a live. But again, I just want everybody to know, like my grandma tell me, you never know what people go through. Whatever they going through, you gotta respect. You gotta respect it. Don't judge them. Respect it. Again, I want to make this clear, especially to that phony ass motherfucker from last week. You can say whatever the fuck you want. I don't give two flying fucks. I've been through more than what your mouth is bringing out. Because it's nothing but bullshit. Again, I don't have to disrespect anyone to get my point across. You disrespected me. You hurt my motherfucking feelings at that point in time when you said it. But my feelings can always feel like I can sew my feelings back up. It doesn't matter to me. I ain't even gonna say I was upset. I was pissed. I was pissed because that was some fake ass fun. Well, I mean, I only met, I could say, a handful of solid motherfuckers on here. Only a hand, that I rock with on here. Only a handful of them. But it is what it is. I hope everybody. I think I'm gonna come back on later on today because it's 12 o'clock here where I'm at. But I hope everybody enjoyed their Sunday morning. But again, I'll be back on here just chopping it up. Hope everybody again have a great Sunday. I holla.